Hey guys, thanks for stopping by for another video. We're going to keep tearing down on the CL350. It's a 1972 and it's a crusty one, but we're trying to get the engine out. That's the main goal. And we got some stuff in the way. We got to get rid of the ignition. We got to get rid of the coils. We got to get rid of the horn. We got to get rid of the wires and we got to do that. So on this video, let's focus on that. So let's take a closer look at what we're dealing with here. We've got our ignition here and our coils up on top, our horn right back here, and a bunch of wiring kind of in the way as well. Our condenser is also right there as well. Look how crusty that is. Oh my goodness. Basically, this all comes out pretty easily. There are two really long bolts on that. And we're just going to walk around the bike. I'll show you from the other side what it all looks like. We got this wiring mess here and two bolts. It basically all just pancakes together. All you're going to need for this is guess. Guess what you're going to need. You're going to need a 10 millimeter wrench and a 10 millimeter socket. Let's get at it. All right, now to get these out, basically just get your wrench on one side and grab your ratchet on the other. And we're going to pull out these long bolts, and they're long, so you gotta kind of be in it for the long haul here a little bit. But we're gonna pop this nut off here. Again, keep track of all the parts. That nut's gonna pop out, and notice there is no washer. There's nothing there. That actually really surprises me. So I'm gonna set that nut down right there. You know where it is, all right? So if I lose it, let me know. But let's move on over to the other one. I'll pop this out, and you're gonna start to see everything's starting to loosen up pretty quickly here, all right? Now, a couple things I want to show you here on the other side, so let me flip the camera around. All right, the nuts are off on the other side, so I'm just going to start pulling these nuts out, or these bolts out, rather. They should just pull right out. God, these are crusty. But pay attention, right here, this is actually your tachometer cable holder. It'll slip right into this, and it'll pop right into here on your tachometer. So don't lose that. You're going to need that little wire, because otherwise it's going to be flopping all over the place. Don't want to lose that stay. But we're going to pull this off. Should just pull right out of here. And like, this thing is so bad. But you'll be amazed, man. Once we take this into the sandblaster, all of it's going to look brand spanking new, or at least pretty clear. So first of all, when you take this nut and bolt out, what you're going to see, what drops out on the back side here, you can't really see it. That's the ignition. We'll focus on that here in just a second, but I'm going to pull these out. We've got our tachometer cable holder here. We're going to keep that. Pull this out, and your horn actually is going to slide right out. Again, don't lose the bolts. Keep that stuff. Here's your horn. This is what the horn looks like. And again, this is going to clean up. This is actually in better shape than the one I have on my CB350. So what we're going to do is we're just going to follow the wires. Okay, there's going to be two wires, a black and a green. Black is going into this double connector here. Again, black is power. And then our green is going into a single bullet here on a green wire here. Just pull that out. There's your horn. Horn is out. There it is. All right, so we're making progress. Now you can see the ignition, okay? So here's the ignition, and there's a big connector for the ignition here. This is your flasher relay. This is also connected on the other side as well. So our flasher relay is there. Let's just see. Oh, yeah, that ain't coming off. Let's try the bullet connectors instead. Again, a black goes into that. So your black from your flasher and your horn go into the same one. And then this one looks like a gray wire should pull right out. So there's your flasher relay, okay? That's what's gonna make your lights go blinky blink. So we've got that out now as well. So here's our ignition, and kind of pancaked up in here is a pretty important connector. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna clear some space. So let's get one of these spark plug wires out of the way. Just pull the little tab here, and there you go. That's your spark plug cable. Let's just get that out of the way. It's in our way right now. Get it out of there, all right? Here's a bunch of connectors for your coil, but then here, wedged up behind here, I was actually wondering where this actually came from. Let's give you a little bit of elevation here, all right? Honor to Bono and you too, okay? See if we can pop this out. There it is. So this is tied to the ignition. And this connector is actually coming out of the main wiring harness. So let's, oh yeah, man, I can't believe that came out so easily, but there's an ignition. Now, this ignition is actually kind of useless to me because I don't have a key. I'm going to do some research. I don't know if there's a way that I can rekey it or what's going on there. Maybe there's a master key. I'm not sure. On this thing, be sure not to lose these really small little inserts. Okay, there's little metal inserts here. Let's see, can I show you that? These little metal inserts, do not lose them. Had a hard time trying to locate some replacements. Had to actually manufacture some on my CB350. So just notice they can fall out of there really, really, really easily. So now let's get this, just don't lose those. But anyway, let's get this ignition out of the way. And this can kind of go back through there. We don't need this connector. Again, it's all part of the main wiring harness. And now what we can see is that we've just got our coils and our condenser in place. And basically it just rocks right up. Rocks up. And you should be able to tilt this out and get it to come out on one end. I'm going to flip sides here. Hold on. So I remember this being a real bear cat to try and get out when I took them out on my CB350. But honestly, all you got to do is you lift it. You're going to tilt it. Tilt it and drop it. And that's going to bring out your coils. So let's take a closer look at this. Give you a little pan here. So here it is, condenser and two coils, one for each cylinder. And what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect a whole bunch of wires. So let me give you a nice close-up on what's going on here. All right, so here we can see our coil. All right, there's a few things going on here. So this wire is actually going to our points. All right, so let's look here. One of these coming out of the points, both of these black wires are coming from the points, are going into one of the double bullets here. So one of your double bullets is yellow, one is blue. I don't think, God, yeah, one of these looks blue and one of these looks yellow. Okay, so coming out of your points, you've got a yellow wire and a black wire. So again, just a bullet connector. Let's pull that out. Our points are now disconnected. The only other thing really left to do that's attached to these coils are just a couple wires coming out of each one. We've got our condenser here, all right, blue to blue, a blue to blue single, okay. Actually, it's a double bullet, but it goes in here like that, okay. And then there's a black that goes here, okay. I'm gonna pull that, okay. And we got one more black and white here. It's actually going to the post. Can you see that? I'm not sure. See how it's going to that post there? All right, pull that. It's all coming apart real good. And right there, you got it. It's all out. So there you go. We got the ignition out. We got both the coils out and the spark plug wires that came right along with that. We got our flasher relay out. That's good. And we got the horn out. And then if we turn our attention back over to the bike, look at how that opened everything up. Here's that points wire that I was talking about. Comes right out the side of your points. The only thing really left here is the main wiring harness. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this out, and then I'll show you there's some weird routing that you got to pay attention to on these bikes. Main wiring harness actually runs through here, under here, and that's really important. So we're just going to pull it out. We're going to pull all of it apart, and yeah, let's just get the wiring out of the way already. Now, I really do like just saving old parts. Most people would probably just come in and cut this fancy zip tie, but man, it's been around since 1972, if not before, right? So let's see if we can take this off. There's a little stay here that you're going to want to get off. You just slide this piece out, okay? And then it's just like a normal zip tie. Just tilt it a little bit and work it out. And honestly, it pops right off, okay? So you don't have to just go and cut them. And man, clean them up. I mean, I love original parts. So even the little stuff I like to keep. So let's kind of keep moving along here. Let's see if I can pan down here. Our wiring harness is coming all out. This was all in the headlight bucket, all right? This was all up in front in the bike. And then if we keep moving over here, this is where stuff starts to get a little interesting, all right? We've got a few things here that we need to dig through. Let me give you a closer look at what's happening here. So as we kind of move through the bike, here's where our stator connected, all right? Or no, yeah, that was our, no, yeah, that was our stator. This was your ignition, this is your stator, and this is your rectifier. So the only thing connected here right now, if we flip around, is this one black wire here. And it's actually tied to your rear brake switch. There's a little switch in there. I wonder if I can let you see that. But there's a little switch there, and that connected up with the regulator, if you remember from the previous videos. So we're going to pull this out. We're going to get rid of this. This is actually pretty simple. It's just one little nut that you're going to pull out, and the whole unit will pop right out. And then we're going to move our attention up here, show you some routing. Then we're going to get this whole wiring harness out of this bike. But let's get this thing out of here first. Just taking a little closer look at this brake light switch. All right, so here it is. There's actually a spring that goes all the way down here, and it connects right to the actual brake light. You can kind of see it there. It's pulling. That's what activates the switch. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to probably deal with this. A lot of times you're able to just pull up and pull out on it. Amazing when you just go for it. Sometimes you just got to go for it. Screw the wrench, all right? Just give her a nice pull up. It'll fall right out of there, all right? Let me see if I can give you a little bit better look. Really awkward angles here that I'm trying to show you, but that's where this kind of fell into, okay? It dropped right into there. Now we'll be able to loosen up that spring, disconnect that spring rather, disconnect our wiring, and that brake light switch will come right out. All right, so here we go. Again, we've got just a green and yellow wire. Green and yellow. Everything should match up really, really good. We're going to give that a nice tug. We also have that black that went in with our regulator. So that switch is free, and once you get it really free, it'll all just pop right out. The little spring, wait, can I get it back on camera? Little spring popped right out, and then here is your little brake light switch. See, it's just like a spring activated switch for the rear brake light. So it works out really, really, really simple, and that frees us up even more. So let's move on through the wiring harness. So before we can get to routing, getting this main wiring harness out, we got to deal with some stuff back up in here. So this is all for your rear brake light. This is all for your signals. Just pull the bullet connectors again, okay? It's all color stamped. It should all come out of there really, really, really easily. Just follow the wires. Everything matches up pretty clean. Shouldn't be a problem. Here's another one right here. We'll just pull that apart. We're good. And then what we want to do is you want to slide this back underneath. So that's free. Okay. So now what you got these two pieces. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just take this off. Okay. Because we need every single millimeter of space in order to get this to all come apart well. Because we got to actually get all these wires to push through here. And it's a pretty tight fit. So you just got to kind of push them through, especially once you get to this connector here. It can get a little bit iffy as you're moving through there, but just slowly kind of push it through. Chances are there's probably nothing wrong with the wiring harness, okay? My last bike, I spent, a bunch of money, bought a new wiring harness, did it all fresh wiring. Thanks to my buddy Brad for helping me rewire my bike. It was amazing what he was able to do that day. But this was a real puzzlement trying to get these things through here. Actually, back this back out. Let's see if I can pull maybe this thinner wire through here, because this little piece here, it absolutely barely wants to go through. There, I got some progress, but you're just going to kind of pull on it. I really don't want to break. The harness. I'm going to push this back through. Try to get this batch of wires out. You just got to be really, really, really careful while you're doing this. There we go. So that pulled out. So all those wires are pulling through. Now we should be able to get this connector out. I'm going to push it back forward a little bit. Actually, I'm going to see if I can push on it just a little bit, watching from the inside here. See if I can push it through. There is like no margin, to get this out of here. I don't think it matters like which way you push it, and there's so much rust and debris in this thing. I just really, really, really don't want to break this connector. So let's see. I mean, it's not the end of the world if I do, but I sure would like to be able to salvage it. Let me keep working on this. All right, sometimes you got to just get a little bit violent with stuff. It's really corroded in there. It's really tight. So I'm just really gently, I found the middle of that plug, and I'm just tapping this through, and there we go. We got it through. Be patient, though. Be patient with it. Try not to break these different parts. But now, as you can see, it all came out in one piece. We saved it. So that's amazing. This little channel can be really, really challenging. So I wanted to just be sure to show you that for sure. Let's flip around to the other side of the bike, and we're really close to pulling this wiring harness. Really, the only thing left to do is to get this one last, zip off. And again, call me ridiculous, but I do really like to save as many of the parts. Let's rotate. Come on. I made my first filming error, actually. I took the wiring harness out without you. Thought I hit the record button, but I didn't. But anyway, there was just one more of these straps holding it in. I got it off without having to cut it or break it. So love the patience. And then there is the entire wiring harness. This is going to be so much fun to wire back up someday. But I'm so glad that I got it out of here in one piece. And there it is. There's our haul on this, making progress. Rear brake light switch, ignition, coils, horn, wiring harness is out. Fantastic. We're making some good progress tonight, having a blast. Let's keep going. All right, guys, I think we're going to call it. I'm going to go get another fresh cup of coffee. And honestly, what I'm thinking is that we might try to take that front wheel off. I'm not really 100% sure which way I'm going to go here. But we made a ton of progress, cleared out all of the wiring. All we've got here now is the starter wire. Got a starter, and we got an engine and a frame. So we're getting down there. Oh, one last part. Let's pull the little rubber piece off that holds the gas tank in. Ooh, thunderstorm. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but a huge crack of lightning. So let's put our parts away, get a refill of coffee, and keep on going. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you found this interesting, at least made you maybe feel a little bit more comfortable about tackling your own project. If you do, please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. If you want to share some of your own tips, please leave a comment. I would love to be interacting with you guys. Also, I share some content on Twitter and Instagram quite a bit. So go ahead, give a follow. At BV Matson is the handle on both of those networks. So let's keep going on the project. Thanks for watching, and keep on wrenching.